He's the head of People+ai. He's one of the most plugged-in people in the AI landscape. He deeply understands tech. He understands investing. He understands entrepreneurship and policy like nobody else. He'll be doing a deeper dive on the strategy of how India can maximize the potential of AI. Let's give a warm welcome to Tanuj Bhojwani.
This what we do chart is also today's agenda. We're going to have 4 sections. The sections are going to go use case, infrastructure, community, and then cheerleading. I'm going to start us off with the first section in a very sort of an exciting sense of use cases that we have for India. Just let me get straight to it. So, if you're a startup, you've probably heard this advice, right? Go talk to your users, right? YC entirely always says, go talk to your users, go talk to your users, right? But what they actually mean is listen to your users. But listening to your users is very, very hard. The more layers you have between you and your users, especially if you're a large organization or something like the government, then listening to your users becomes a game of Chinese whispers, right? By the time the message gets to you, it's very, very hard to even know what was said originally. But what if AI could help you cut through the noise? So now this is the idea that we have, our first idea for population scale use case. And we like to call it, the name we've given it is Jan Ki Baat, or listen at scale, right? Let me just quickly go through the concept, and then I'm going to invite one of our startups to come show you a demo. So you're already familiar with this idea, the chatbot, where a user initiates the talk and asks a question. There is a bot which has been given a knowledge base, and it searches over that knowledge base, retrieves an answer, and then presents that answer to the user. This is a very useful paradigm, and we've seen a lot of apps built around this, say manuals and like dealing with complex information. This is very useful. But there is certain challenges in this concept, right? Because you need a user who can articulate a question. You need the knowledge from which that question is to be answered to be digitized and to exist. And then the bot to give those answers without challenges as hallucination or retrieval efficiency, etc. What if we introduce a very, very simple twist, right? Which is that instead of the user asking the question, if the bot asks that question, they get that answer from a user in a 1:1 conversation, but also they can get that information from multiple users to put together the complete picture. This idea or this framework is what we are calling Jan Ki Baat, where the bot initiates, asks the user, right? The bot faithfully collects that data, puts it together, and then that information itself you can use AI to analyze. So without wasting any time, I want to show it to you in action, and I'm going to call our next speaker to come on stage.
Thanks, Tanuj. Our next speaker is Harsh Parikh from Briefcase. He is going to change the way health records are kept in hospitals.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the introduction. A quick question. Why do we like our family doctor? Simple. Because he knows us, what we are made up of, our past, the frequent colds, the kidney stones, the hospitalizations, the surgeries. Essentially, he knows our longitudinal health history. The power of this is immense. And that is why we launched Briefcase back in 2017. It was launched as a health record to capture your health history with the objective that over time, with the use of your longitudinal health history, we will make it better for you to access health services in a more efficient and possibly in a cheaper manner. Over the years, we faced several challenges. Inertia, everybody wanted a digital backup of their health history, but almost everybody did not want to do anything about it. The inertia was huge. But also, even from the provider side, the hospital labs, the clinics, there was a certain degree of protectionism about sharing patient data, of course with patient consent, but there was a certain degree of protectionism that we faced. तुम मेरा data लेके मेरा patient चुरा लोगे. Something we heard almost everywhere. Fast forward to 2021, when the government launched what is today known as the ABDM, the Ayushman Bharat Digital Mission, essentially India's public health digital good, a stack very similar to UPI, where UPI makes it easy for you to move your money from bank account A to bank account B. Now imagine the same if it were possible with your health information, your health data, to move from the server of one service provider, a hospital or a lab or a clinic where the data gets generated, to anybody who needs it, your insurance company, another doctor who's providing a second opinion, another doctor who's treating you basis something that had happened to you 3 years ago, wants access to your history. The use cases of this are immense, and the benefits, the consequences for the ecosystem as a whole, game changing. With the way the health locker would now start collecting longitudinal data under the ABDM, and this data can be used obviously not only for better care but also cheaper insurance, better pricing of insurance, wider coverage. It's simply put, the way healthcare will be delivered in this country is changing and changing rapidly. One of the use cases of the ABDM that is currently widely prevalent in public hospitals is that of the OPD registration, which is also popularly known as the scan and share. Just to elaborate on the problem statement very quickly, if you walk into any government hospital at 8 o'clock in the morning, you will see it is akin to a fish market and full of sick people. It takes about 3 or sometimes even longer, 3 hours or even longer, for someone to register himself at the OPD counter before he or she is directed to the actual doctor that she's supposed to go to for curing the problem. To solve for this, the NHA introduced the scan and share module, which creates a Digi-Yatra kind of a journey in a government hospital. So there is a separate queue. The patient walks in. He is encouraged to download an ABDM enabled PHR app and create his health ID, the ABHA, Ayushman Bharat Health Account. They have to just scan a QR code, as a result of which the health ID relevant data from his Aadhaar gets transferred and the patient health card gets created automatically without having the patient to utter a word. He gets a token number, there's a separate queue, and what earlier took 3 to 4 hours is now taking minutes, literally minutes.
This is Kashiram Hospital in Kanpur, UP. Here, amidst the chaos, patients and their families navigate the labyrinth of healthcare services with long queues and indefinite wait times.
भूखे प्यासे सुबह के लाइन लगाए 2 बजे 12 बजे लाइन लगती थी
तो स्कूल छूट जाता था, पापा के दिक्कत होती थी।
बच्चों के साथ आते थे तो बच्चे भी परेशान होते थे, धूप बहुत तेज रहती थी।
While over 70% of our population, nearly 1 billion people, depend on public healthcare services, government expenditure on healthcare is under 30% of total expenses in most states.
अब एक पेशेंट हमारे यहाँ जैसे हॉस्पिटल में आया, एक तो पहले ही वो प्रॉब्लम में है जब वो आया, उसके बाद 2-2, 3-3 घंटे लाइन में लगा है, तो इससे उसको दिक्कत बहुत ज़्यादा होती थी, पेशेंट भी फ्रस्ट्रेट होता था। इसी चीज़ को दूर करने के लिए जैसे हमारे राष्ट्रीय स्वास्थ्य प्राधिकरण और आयुष्मान भारत डिजिटल मिशन की स्टेट टीम ने स्कैन एंड शेयर लॉन्च किया।
The scan and share system has been revolutionary in easing the registration process.
जब जो पेशेंट पहले 3 घंटा लाइन में लग रहा था, अब वो 5 मिनट में यहाँ से पर्चा बनवा के डॉक्टर के पास पहुँचेगा।
But we wanted to know how we could make it better and wanted to learn more about people's daily experiences with it. Hence, we decided to deploy Jan Ki Baat to hear from patients on the ground.
नमस्ते, ब्रीफ केस द्वारा आयोजित सर्वे में आपका स्वागत है।
जी नमस्ते।
जब आप काशीराम हॉस्पिटल गए थे, तो क्या आपने अपने आभा आईडी के साथ स्कैन एंड शेयर फीचर यूज किया था या आप नॉर्मल लाइन में खड़े थे?
जी मैंने स्कैनर यूज किया था।
क्या आपको नया स्कैन और शेयर रजिस्ट्रेशन प्रोसेस समझने में आसान लगा?
पहले तो समझ में नहीं आया, लेकिन स्टाफ मेंबर्स ने सपोर्ट किया, फिर कोई दिक्कत नहीं हुई।
JKB listens at scale, transforming voices into actionable insights. Using it, we surveyed over 100 people on their experience with the scan and share system.
The pilot survey that was conducted yielded 3 important findings. One was no surprise. It works. People love the fact that now they don't have to stand in these long queues, and in a matter of minutes, they actually end up saving half a day's salary in many cases. But there were other findings, which is something that we promised to take to work towards. The first one, in hospitals, several large government hospitals especially, the crowd, as I mentioned in the morning, is maddening. It often becomes difficult for the person to see beyond what is put in front of him. And therefore we realized that a lot of people, while they knew exactly what to do, create their Abha, scan the QR code, take the token, they did not know about the wider picture, what ABDM is all about, what Abha is all about, what the future entails. That education was being missed out upon. The other issue, the way this the way this is being currently implemented is there are briefcase mitras or promoter boys essentially who are present on the OPD floor guiding people towards how this is to be done. A lot of the registrations are happening effectively in an assistant mode. In the absence of the mitra, it was found that people found this a little unintuitive, and therefore we were wondering what could we do about it.
आज मैं आपकी क्या मदद कर सकता हूँ?
जब मैं पिछली बार हॉस्पिटल में आया था तो नर्स ने मुझे ये ऐप डाउनलोड करके आभा कार्ड बनाने को बोला था। ये आभा क्या होता है?
आभा का मतलब आयुष्मान भारत स्वास्थ्य खाता है। आइए इसके बारे में और जानें। मैं अपॉइंटमेंट बुक करने में आपकी मदद कर सकता हूँ। आप डॉक्टर को किस लिए मिलना चाहते हैं? अपनी समस्या बताएं।
मुझे 3 दिन से बहुत बुखार है और मेरे गले में भी काफी दर्द है।
मैंने आपकी समस्या नोट कर ली है। आप इनमें से किस डॉक्टर के पास जाना चाहते हैं? कस्तूरबा अस्पताल के डॉक्टर अनिरुद्ध जल्द से जल्द उपलब्ध हैं। आज शाम 5 बजे मैं आपके लिए स्लॉट बुक कर रहा हूँ।
Through the demo, we showcased how patients can book appointments in their natural languages from the comfort of their homes, all while streamlining the registration process for hospital administration using the scan and share system. But why stop there? When it comes to public healthcare, a lot more can be done. Accountability in public healthcare has always been a challenge. JKB can offer a direct line from hospital floors to health ministries. JKB brings visibility at scale, making feedback immediate and impactful. Imagine what this could unlock. And this is just the start.
In the past few decades, we have seen that where the voice of the people surpasses the usual escalation matrices, there is better adherence to compliance. What if feedback about public health infrastructure could reach the principal health secretary or the health minister directly from the floor of the hospital? They see a rat floating around, hospital staff are not coming on time, someone is asking for money which is supposed to be free, the pharmacies are not adequately stocked with medicines. If this feedback reaches the health secretary directly without going through the 4, 5, 6 levels of on an escalation matrix, the value that people would receive from the kind of expenditure our government makes on public healthcare is immense. We know, when people know that they are being watched, they are being accountable to the people, things happen. In India, we're going to take a few decades for our physical infrastructure to match what's there in the West at a national level. But technology can help hasten this. And Gen AI can actually hasten this even more. And simply put, why stop at scan and share? We showed you that the entire OPD registration process can be taken out of the picture just by having an AI engine right for patients to do this at the comfort of their house in their natural language. Just a start. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Harsh. Next up, we have Harshmani Tripathi. He is bringing entertainment close to you. Over to you, Harsh.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, People+ai, for having us here, and a very good evening to all of you. I would actually like to start by showing you guys something.
What's interesting is that in this advertisement, it's signed by Patanjali Ayurved, not by Baba Ramdev. And in this advertisement, the advertisement seeks. क्या होता है?
Oh, alright. Alright, so we'll get back to that in a bit. We couldn't hear you very well, Ashmit, but for now, let's move on.
So, भाई अंग्रेजी बोल रहे हैं मगर अंग्रेज नहीं है. And to be fair, this could happen to any of us on a hot summer afternoon. Now, here's the thing. It's safe to say that even in this hall, all of us, despite being proficient in a certain language, we are carrying an inherent identity of another. It is the identity that speaks to your core, to your emotional core, and that is generally associated to your native tongue. So as much as all of us are super proficient in English or Hindi, but there's something within us that helps us feel, that helps us think. That is our window to the world outside, and also the window for the world towards us. And that is precisely the insight that we have used to build Stage. A language is not just about access. It's about identity. So what is Stage? Stage is an entertainment platform for India's regional cultures. And it turns out that when we reach to our users in the lingo, in the native that they understand and they truly connect with, they shower us with a lot of love. When we go and tell them that, hey, we are here to validate, reinforce, and celebrate your identity, they are inherently and internally very happy about that. And as an outcome of that happiness, we get showered a lot of love from our users. So it's not just great for emotional connect, it's also great for business. We have 12 million users in 2 dialects that we are servicing until now, which is Haryanvi and Rajasthani. And out of these 12 million, about 1.2 million users are paying us a quarterly fee to be subscribed on the platform. It doesn't end there. We are already profitable in Haryanvi. And we are soon going to be profitable in Rajasthani as well. Now it turns out that there is a massive, massive opportunity that India has to present. There are 19,000 plus dialects. And Stage as a company alone cannot even imagine covering all of them. We do have in sight roughly 20 more dialects that we want to capture. But I just want to bring this here for all the people who are trying to reach India, who are trying to listen to India at scale, that it is almost impossible to do that if we do not connect with them, if we do not reach them and meet them where they are. And
स्वागत है स्टेज ऐप पर। इसे भी सहायता लेने खातर मैं इसलिए आपके साथ हूँ।
राम राम जी, मैंने स्टेज ऐप खोला और उसमें 1 रुपये का ट्रायल लिखा हुआ था, तो मेरे समझ में ना आया। क्यों करके कुछ समझाओगे?
हाँ भाई, आप स्टेज ऐप पर केवल 1 रुपये का भुगतान करके 7 दिन 300 फिल्म देख सको और 7 दिन बाद आपकी 199 की पेमेंट ऑटोमेटिक यूपीआई तक होगी।
अच्छा, ऑटोमेटिक रुपये काट लोगी?
हाँ जी। तो जब आप 1 रुपये का भुगतान करोगे तो हम यूपीआई ऑटो पे के माध्यम से आपसे आज्ञा लेंगे 199 की पेमेंट की।
अगर मैंने ट्रायल में मजा ना आया तो भी रुपये काट लोगे आप?
चिंता मत करिए जी, अगर ट्रायल में मजा ना आवे तो जब आपका मन करे तब कैंसिल कर सको वो।
अच्छा जी ठीक है। और एक बात और पूछनी थी कि वो स्टेज ऐप टीवी में भी चल जाएगा कि?
स्टेज ऐप टीवी या मोबाइल में आपको मोबाइल ऐप की सेटिंग में जाओ, आके आपने एक टीवी कोड दिखाएगा, वो कोड अपने टीवी पे ऐप में भरोगे तो कनेक्ट हो जाएगा।
ठीक है जी, राम राम, सहायता खातिर धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद, आपका दिन शुभ हो। जय हरियाणा, जय हरियाणा।
This actually got miscued. I had a few things to say before, but I'll continue. So you just saw this here. This is an AI bot conversing in Haryanvi. By the way, let me also tell you, Haryanvi does not have a script. It does not have any literature whatsoever. And that is the case with 19,000 plus dialects that we have in this country. Again, a massive challenge for us to train AI. This bot can also converse with our user in Hindi as proficiently. It detects what the user, the tonality of the user and what the user is going to speak in. And then it changes it, adapts to its approach. Another thing, I think, as Tanuj also mentioned, one of the most powerful things that we can develop going forward is the proactivity in AI. Until now, and with the advent of software and you know how our world has progressed overall, we have been used to building software that is reactive in nature. The human decides to use, and the software is at its service. But with AI, we can change that paradigm. AI can proactively reach out, as it did in this user's case. It realized that the user is facing a challenge while browsing the app, and it proactively reached out to solve for that challenge. I'll tell you something more interesting here. So, when we decided to build Stage, it was very simple for us to decide that, hey, the product has to be seamlessly stitched in dialect. So we went on and we built a customer support team, and we hired people who could speak Haryanvi and Rajasthani. Now, just by the virtue of doing that, we saw our refund rates fall by 50%. Right? That was the power of how we could emotionally connect with our user. It was not just about servicing them and reaching out to them. It was also about emotionally connecting with them. That being said, one more thing. On Stage, our users range from an Olympian to a startup CEO to an IT professional to a government employee to a farmer and even a taxi driver. There is a misnomer. There is a perception that if someone speaks in their native dialect, there is a presumption of the socioeconomic strata that they come from. Let me also tell you that our users mail us in impeccable English. So I'm here to breach that and break that perception. And I also want to tell you that this couldn't be further from the truth. Language is about identity and not class. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Harsh. That was amazing. And as an investor, I heard the word profitability and then I stopped listening. That was great. Next up is Pratyush Kumar from Sarvam.ai. And Pratyush is doing an amazing startup. He will tell you all about it.
Namaste, everybody. Thanks, Bala. It's been a great show so far. I enjoyed really the demos and the videos that we saw so far. I'll talk to you about three things. What can Adbhut India build, how we can build it, and how we can serve customers at significantly lower prices. So the first thing that India really can build is, like we saw in the case of Stage, we are building experiences, digital experiences that are welcoming entirely new populations to entirely new app experiences. Imagine an entrepreneur somewhere in Uttar Pradesh wanting to invest in a new age FD booking app. And they're just waiting to click the button invest because this particular small bank gives a higher interest rate, but they're not very sure if they should go ahead and do that. At that moment, when they're lacking the confidence to transact as confidently as we do today, if you had an AI in place in their app that is helping them decide what to do, how would that really be? Or a second example, let's say a new mother wanting to ask questions about her child or about her pregnancy using a very familiar interface like WhatsApp, and being able to send images, speak in their language, send voice notes, and getting answers from doctors, certified doctors, who typically don't have the bandwidth to reach out to this class of users on that same interface like WhatsApp. And we heard from Briefcase about providing access to healthcare. It's actually possible today to provide this from the top doctors to all the new mothers that we have in the country. Or a third example, we heard about Chinese whispers. Imagine a sales guy just finished a long conversation with a stockist somewhere and got lots of insights about what the stockist is doing, what is selling, what is not selling, what a competitor is doing, the price being high, too low. And now this particular person finished the conversation going back to the bike. Instead of now sending an email to his supervisors about what he heard, what insights he got. Imagine AI being able to do a call to this person, and this person has an unintermediated conversation, and all the insights are extracted from that conversation and put into various databases. So these are the kinds of experiences that we can build today. These are somewhat magical to some of us, but these are not imagined use cases. These are real use cases that we can build and provide value to new users coming onto experiences, new people getting access to healthcare, and people taking their insights on the ground and taking it to a boardroom. But what does it take to build these experiences? Does it take 10 engineers amongst us to go build them? Our answer at Sarvam, no. It is the companies that are actually represented by these different experiences can actually build them themselves. And I wanted to provide a sneak preview to Sarvam's authoring experience for the first time here. What you will see here is someone using a platform, typing in English what they would like to build, one of those 3 bot experiences, not writing any lines of code and actually getting an experience coming out of it. Let's see. So it begins by first the company specifying something about themselves. For example, what is the brand? What kind of a bot do you like to have? What are the guidelines, the guardrails that you would like to put? Then you bring in your APIs, or essentially your external functions to book a hospital appointment, your knowledge bases to answer questions, and you do all of that in an interface where you can type in natural language, put what your bot should do. Maybe it should use this particular tool for a particular task. It should, depending on what the user is saying, do something else, and you type all of that in natural language. Maybe it takes you 1 day to think that through, and once you click done, you will get an AI agent that looks like this.
नमस्ते राहुल, मैं स्टेबल मनी का AI असिस्टेंट हूँ। मैं आपको FD बुकिंग करने में और कोई क्वेश्चंस आंसर करने में हेल्प कर सकता हूँ।
जी, मैं नया अभी इंस्टॉल किया स्टेबल मनी ऐप ने, मेरे दोस्त ने बताया इसके बारे में। ये इन्वेस्टमेंट्स करना मतलब ऑनलाइन में FD करना सेफ है क्या? मतलब सब बैंक्स, बहुत छोटे-छोटे बैंक्स है जो आपके पास है, और कुछ अलावा बड़े बैंक से या इसमें इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं क्या?
स्टेबल मनी में FD बुक करना बहुत सेफ और सिक्योर है। सभी बैंक्स जो स्टेबल मनी पर लिस्टेड हैं, RBI द्वारा रेगुलेटेड हैं। स्टेबल मनी में सभी डिपॉजिट्स का बीमा 5 लाख रुपए तक DICGC द्वारा किया जाता है, जो कि वित्त मंत्रालय के अंतर्गत एक विशेषीकृत विभाग है। स्टेबल मनी पर 2 लाख से अधिक कस्टमर्स ने समय के साथ अपना पैसा इन्वेस्ट किया है और हम पर भरोसा किया है। अगर आपको सेफ्टी के बारे में और जानकारी चाहिए तो मुझे बताएं। मैं आपको टैक्सेशन और विथड्रॉल्स की जानकारी भी दे सकता हूं।
नहीं, आपके पास जो FDs है उसमें से सबसे ज़्यादा पॉपुलर कौन सा FDs है जिसको मेरे को बुक करना है? तो
यहाँ हमारे ऐप पर कुछ सबसे पॉपुलर FDs हैं। पहला है सूर्योदय बैंक, जो 8.65% इंटरेस्ट रेट के साथ 2 साल की टेन्योर के लिए है। फिर हमारे पास शिवालिक बैंक है, जो 8.55% इंटरेस्ट रेट के साथ 2 साल के लिए है। और फिर हमारे पास उत्कर्ष बैंक है। अगर आप और टेन्योर्स या बैंकों की तलाश में हैं तो मुझे बताएं। मैं आपको हमारे NBFCs से भी FD ऑप्शन शेयर कर सकता हूं।
So let me run through what happened just now. A user on an app used their voice, asking in this case in Hindi, a question, and what you got was an experience where not just the answer comes back in the voice, but you also got user interface, which was contextual to what was being asked. So if there's a question that is being asked regarding information, you saw 3 bullet points come and the bot was able to guide you through information. When there was a question asked about fixed deposit rates, a card came up with the numbers, right? What does this look like? This looks like LLMs powering your entire application in one place. It's not about streaming text that India wants. India wants to have voice-led interfaces which actually gets things done right there. So things like customer care, things like customer support, even being enabling completely new users to new experiences should happen right away. Imagine what would be possible if every small organization is able to quickly use an authoring experience like this and build a bot like this for themselves. But the second question to really ask is this about giving away all that you have to a company, let's say somewhere in the west coast of San Francisco, and using their APIs, or can we retain more control ourselves? So what is under the hood that is powering this? One, there is the Sarvam stack. It includes the natural language to agent framework that I showed you, that you can type out all this in English and you get a bot out. But there are a few more layers below that. There's enterprise deployment, which is to take everything that you have and move it to any cloud that the user may want to. So there is no lock-in. You want to do this on-prem, government wants to run it in state data centers, all that is possible. Next, we have foundation models that Sarvam is building, both Indic and agentic. Indic models, of course, Indian language, text and speech models, and agentic models that get things done. Finally, there is fast GPU inferencing. Of course, all of us know these things run on GPUs, and there is some amount of work to be done to take these experiences and make them very, very efficient on GPUs so that the cost of serving them is low. Now, that is a Sarvam full stack. We call ourselves a full stack company. But what do you bring? The company brings its resources, let's say its APIs, its knowledge bases, its instructions, its brand guidelines and styles. And what you get, and this is the critical piece, you get a custom built small model for that particular task. The result of this experience is you get a bot that with a model that is specifically in this case for helping you buy FDs, right? And that bot or that model you could serve anywhere on your GPUs, on the GPUs of a particular cloud provider, or also on the GPUs, let us say, that the government provides to many startups to run things on, right? And that is essentially the idea of your AI in your control. But what does it cost? I think Tanuj said it's expensive. I would like to differ, right? So if you ask me, in the history of compute, what has 1 rupee of compute got us, let's say from the 1980s to today, right? I think what AI has done is it has accelerated tremendously the scale of what 1 rupee of compute gives us, right? It's always been going down. Chips have gotten smaller, power is more accessible, but with AI, what does it cost to, let's say, for a user to transact confidently? What is your guess? It is 100 rupees? Would that be the number? No. Is it 10 rupees? That's also not the number. It's actually 1 rupee, right? And this is the opportunity that India has. We have shown in the past that we can do high volume, low cost excellently. And AI provides us the chance to take it to the next level. If every student could get their questions answered, if every new mother has their doubts cleared, if every new UP entrepreneur is able to book FDs on this app at 1 rupee kind of cost, then we really change things at scale. So putting these three things together, building magic is easy. You can have AI in your own control and you can serve it at a low cost. If you combine all these three things, that's when you enable everyone to build magic. That's when you enable an Adbhut India. And Sarvam, the word in Sanskrit, means really everyone. Thank you.
Hello, Bangalore. So the lights are bright. The speakers don't get to see you. So if you like something, cheer. Right? That's what we said we do here. So please, I'm going to go rapidly through my part. We're going a little behind the schedule. All right. So you heard about JKB. One thing I want to hear, ask you is, do you think this is primarily about feedback? Yes? No? Yes? No? No. No. It's not about feedback, right? I hope through those experiences, you starting to see the power of why just that simple twist helps, right? And each of the speakers talked about this. First thing, it's very easy in tech to measure inputs, right? How much you put in, how much servers you applied, how many lines of code you have, etc. But how do you measure outcome? What happened, right? And Jan Ki Baat can help you measure outcome directly, quickly, and frequently. But it's more than that. Like Harsh said, you can know what's happening as it's happening and solve problems proactively. And this is critical. It's critical in India because a lot of firms in India actually look like this, where you have, say, a government through Anganwadi Asha workers delivering healthcare, or an HUL or PNG through its Salesforce and field agents getting to their Kirana store, right? And this chain has a lot of leakages very often. right? Information or SOPs or things you try from here, by the time they get here, it goes bad, and by the time it gets to the customer, it gets worse. And there is also a lot of attrition, right, and challenges in managing that field force. But what if you could do that with AI, right, with something like a Janki Baat, where you are knowing what is happening, right, you're getting that information from your field agents and from the users, which is directly coming back to these firms, and you're starting to create these faster loops of iteration, right? You're able to improve how things are done, like Briefcase showed with Brief Mitra, that look, people, once they use the technology, once they use scan and share, liked it, but they didn't know how to use it. So that's where we focus our energy, right? What if you could start getting that feedback in everything you're doing, right, and use it this way? Now let me answer some sort of broader questions, right? What does this use case have to do with, okay, I'm actually sorry, I have one more demo for you, what this means in a distributed company, which is, let's say a ride-hailing company, right? There's this very complex system of incentives that actually determines your supply. So something like on New Year's Eve, you'll have a peak late at midnight. How do you get drivers to be available at that time? And usually the answer, and how do you users, how do you smoothen out demand? So the users, we pay surge pricing, the drivers get incentive. The incentives model is sometimes complex. Let's have a small video for you here.
हेलो रमेश, आपने इस मंथ 30 ट्रिप्स किए हैं। 5 और ट्रिप्स करने पर आप एक्स्ट्रा 1000 रुपए कमा सकते हैं। 10 ट्रिप्स करने पर ये अमाउंट डबल हो जाएगा।
मैंने इस महीने कितने पैसे कमाए?
आपने इस महीने अभी तक 16,500 रुपए कमाए हैं।
सिर्फ इतना? ऐसे कैसे?
आपकी इस महीने की टोटल कमाई 16,500 रुपए है, जिसमें आपका बेसिक पे 10,000 है। 100 ट्रिप्स कंप्लीट करने पर 5,000 रुपए इंसेंटिव मिलता है। पिछले संडे को 500 रुपए का वीकेंड बोनस मिला है और पीक आवर्स में की गई 20 ट्रिप्स के लिए 1000 एक्स्ट्रा मिले हैं। अगर आपको लगता है कमाई कम है तो ये काम पीक आवर ट्रिप्स और पहले वीकेंड का बोनस न मिलने की वजह से हो सकता है। इसके अलावा किसी भी स्पेसिफिक ट्रिप के लिए आप अपने ऐप में अर्निंग्स टैब चेक कर सकते हैं।
अच्छा, समझ गया। और इस महीने कितने ट्रिप करने पड़ेंगे अगर मुझे 50,000 कमाने हैं तो?
इस महीने के अंत तक लगभग 50,000 रुपए कमाने के लिए आपको तकरीबन 70 और ट्रिप्स करनी होगी। हर एक ट्रिप से आपको एवरेज 500 रुपए की कमाई हो रही है और इंसेंटिव्स के हिसाब से भी फायदा होगा।
Let them ask questions, complex queries. How do I earn a certain target? Because that's how users think. They don't think in terms of your tabs, your features, etc. They have their own needs, right? Again, Janki Baat can help you A, understand it and then deliver it. This technology is therefore useful to all, is the claim. And the flip side of that is that it is also useful to people who are not very well intentioned with what they are trying to do. And we already live in a world of spam calls, right? I mean, without naming names, sir loan chahiye, sir credit card chahiye. I'm sure some of you at least are getting all these problems. Now, are we going to create those problems too with this? But we're hoping not. We don't have all the answers, but with Utkarsh, I saw him in the room of example, there he is. We're trying to figure out how do we answer these questions. So I also wanted to do this or have this slide in this moment here to help you understand what does People+ai do in this context. Because you saw different startups come up and show you Janki Baat in action in their own products, in apps, and then say with Sarvam or others for their clients, right? So what does People+ai do here? Well, we try to do stuff like this. We try to figure out how to share knowledge, how to do this right, how to do this responsibly, right? We try to encourage people to build more sort of use cases around this that will actually be useful for the people on the ground. We partner with startups and we figure out, if somebody else comes to us and says, hey, we could use something like this, we connect them to our partners and let them build it with them. We're just making the network, right? Joining the dots so that people can do this themselves. But also, we decided that this is a use case that would have wide-ranging implications. So I'm very happy to announce that in partnering with AWS, Shalini and guys, I see them here, Xstep has an agreement with them for a joint innovation center, and they thought that Janki Baat use case could be very useful. And so we're simply trying to get entrepreneurs to think about these use cases, join them up with other services and other startups who could help them, hopefully even help them get capital or resources like with AWS, and just try to put this out in the world. That's what we do. We just join the dots, right?